tolerance groups, and account groups. Also chart of accounts, retained earnings account, global parameters. And coming to GL accounts, creation of sample, hold and park document, foreign currency translations, month-end provisions, interest calculations, multiple ledgers, parallel currencies, and foreign currency balance revaluations. These are my roles and responsibilities. And coming to my highest qualification, that's I have done my MBA from JNTU Kakinada. So coming to today's topic, I'm going to discuss about APP, that's Automatic Payment Program. So I'm going to share you the document. Is my screen visible? Can you see my screen?
Yes, now.
Yes. Now we are able to see your screen.
Yeah, thank you. So coming to today's topic, it's Automatic Payment Program. First we'll go with the scenarios, then we will talk about the configurations, then we'll talk about the errors. Okay. So coming to the scenarios, we have a number of scenarios dealing with APP. We can do the vendor payments and customer payments. And coming to the vendor payments, we can do the normal payments, down payment clearing, partial clearing, intercompany transactions, foreign currency payments, cash discounts, vendor as customer, and we can do those payments also. And coming to the customer payments, in customer also we can do the similar payments like customer normal clearing payments, down payment, foreign currencies, discount payments, and customer as vendor here. And these are the few scenarios, and you can do the credit note and debit note clearing also, and intercompany transactions also. So all these are the scenarios we have already seen previously. So coming to the configurations of SAP, APP is a tool that can help the users to manage payables. Like generally APP will pick the dues and overdues payments from the line items, and these are processed for clearing. This is an important what do you call it, parameter for picking the line items where they should be due or overdue for clearing the APP. And coming to the configurations, we have total 6 steps in FPZP, that's called APP. Setting of payment, all company codes, paying company codes, then payment methods in country, payment methods in company code, bank determination or selection, then we have host bank. When you go to the option FBZP, you can find these are the options. We are selecting all company codes now. Once you select all company codes, the screen will be displayed. So select the new entries. After selecting the new entries, you need to enter your company code. Then you need to enter your sending company code and paying company code. Sending company codes comes into action when you are doing your any payments for your subsidiary companies or your parent company. In that case, you need to select your company, sending company code. Or else generally you need to do with your paying company code. And coming to here, you can see the cash discounts and tolerance. Here you need to give your tolerance dates for payable, and you can give here outgoing payments with cash discounts, how much percentage of discount you need to allow. Then when you're doing vendor payments, you need to select, when you're doing vendor GL, special GLs, then you need to select here A and F. When you do the drop down, you can select that A and F. Those are called like the special discount payment transactions. And when you're doing customer special GLs, you need to select the options over here A and F for special GLs, down payment transactions. Once you are done that, you save it and go to the next option, paying company codes. Once you go to the paying company codes, you will see this box. These are the options available. Here, you need to select minimum amount for incoming payments or outgoing payments. It is you're giving the SAP one particular parameter where you want to set a benchmark like for the incoming payments and outgoing payments. Only the minimum amount, only that amount will be, and the amount which is less than minimum amount, that transaction cannot be processed with APP. For minimum amount for incoming and minimum amount for outgoing, these are the minimum amounts you need to set it. Then coming to the down, you can see forms. According to the client requirement, you need to sit with ABABR and you need to design a form according to the client requirement, and you need to, after doing the payment, a form will be displayed. That's how these forms are designed based on the client requirements. You need to do along with ABABR. Then going to the third option, payment methods in country. When you select your country, what are the transactions, what are the payment methods available within your country, all those will be displayed. So you need to pick according to the client requirement what client wants in this payment methods like check, transfer, then wire, like you have different methods. All those methods you need to pick according to the client requirement. And you need to have two different payment methods for incoming and outgoing also, depends on the client transactions and the company structure. Then going to the fourth option, payment methods within the company code. You need to set up the payment transactions within the company code based on the client requirements. And once these options will be available, you need to give your company code, payment method, and then minimum amount and maximum amount. This company is taking USD, so you need to give the USD. Similarly, if you're doing the foreign transactions, you need to select these three options. That's foreign business partners allowed and foreign currency allowed, customer and vendor bank abroad allowed. I mean, when you're doing it, when your company is doing with foreign transactions, you need to select these options. And similarly, as scripts, you need to select the form. And next, coming to the house banks, where house banks, before doing the bank's determination, you need to do a house bank, where you will get this dialog box of selecting it. You need to give your company code. Once you have selected your company code, you need to map you'll create your bank GLs. Those GLs you need to link here. You need to link your bank GL, and you need to give the basic requirements of your banks, like what is your account number, what is your bank key, and all this bank details. After giving all this, you need to go for your bank determination. In bank determination, you'll create the banking order, ranking order, bank accounts, then available amounts, value date, and all this. And you can create your check lots also over here for your individual banks using FCHI. Then come into the payments, F110. After assigning, you can assign your vendor and customers direct you can assign to your customers and vendors in their details only, where which bank or which payment method you need to transfer, or you can take in the last minute in the line items also, you can change the payment transaction method. This how you will give the details in the vendor payment transactions. This is where I'm giving you C. So this for check. Before running APP, APP, you need to create one invoice transaction like using FB60 or FB70, depends on the vendor or customer. After running, in APP you'll have some requirements like parameters. You have different requirements like first parameter will be running, then proposal, then payment. You have three different steps going in, wherein you need to select your posting date, company codes, payment method, and vendor or customer. This screen you can see where you need to select your posting date, then document entered number, company code, payment method, and next what is the next clearing date you need to select here. And here if you're doing it the vendor payment, you need to select the particular vendor. If you're doing a particular customer, you need to select a particular customer. Or if you have n number of vendors or customers, you can give the range from and to. This is a parameter run. Once your parameter run, you can see your proposal. See here I got an error after running this. Generally we get these errors. Here what it says is the call log, job log. The number range is missing. So what you do is go into OB A7. You can select that number, what type of document like ZP or ZB, and you can give the number range. Generally it is 20. That number range is missing. This particular error you can find. That what is the error occurred, you can just see in the job log and you can figure out what kind of error is there. And after giving the number ranges, you can process. See outgoing payment or incoming payment, you need to be very careful all this. And here is the document type. This is ZP. Once the parameters and proposal run is done, and you can do next payment run. These are general configurations. And once you are done all this, you can see the document FB03. You can give the document number and see what type of payment has done. So you can see these document transaction in line items. Coming to the errors, these are the common errors what you generally come across in APP, like no value payment date. No value payment method is found. You need to select the payment particular method, like is it check method or transaction method or some other different method. You need to give that method while creating your vendor or customer, or you need to select it while doing the proposal or payment. Then coming to these are the different error. Company codes do not appear in proposal, payment run date and identification date, where you need to select your line items, vendor line items and customer line items, and see whether there is any outstanding dues or payments to be made. Some payments are not made due immediately, so those payments will be not picked by this APP. So that time this error comes into action. And payment in currency, and you need to be careful with your currencies, in which currency you're making the transaction. You need to make sure that if you're having 2 different or 3 different currencies in your transactions going in, you need to map the currency with the company house banks also. And coming to the fourth error, when you do the down payments, defaultly those will be blocked. I mean the down payment while you run your APP, down payment will be blocked automatically. You need to realize that it will be blocked, and if you want to adjust with vendor or customer payments, you need to unblock and run the payment. And there's one more error. As we gave in configurations, we gave the minimum amount and maximum amounts. If the amount is less than minimum what we just gave, $100. If the invoice are less than $100, then the transaction will not take place. Then you need to go back to the configuration and change the minimum amount, or you need to do it manually. when it's not when you don't want to change your settings. And coming to the sixth one, account or invoice is blocked for payment. This is done because you need to make sure, like in vendor and customer, see XK02 and FK02, you need to check the payment method. What payment method is there and what payment method is over here. And sometimes this is a block and you need to remove this blocked option to run the process. Required details are not maintained in vendor master data. In configuration, we have seen earlier where if you selected that street and post office, bank details, all this mandatory as IBAN and all this. If you're not giving in vendor those details, it'll ask you, it'll not process the run. So you should make sure like you are giving the vendor all these details like street, post box, bank account numbers, all these are mandatory for vendor. Then only you should run this run. So this is the overview of the APP, and we have talked about the scenarios, then configuration and the errors. In later we'll talk about the using the SAP. We'll do the configuration in SAP directly. So thank you. Now my my friend Feroz will take up the same session. So thank you. Feroz, please go on.